Hello Billy, back at it again with another video. Thanks for clocking in today, and today we are talking about Life is Strange, Chapter 2 overview. Last week Charlie has just finished Chapter 2, and I just finished it for the third time, so that's pretty awesome. And what we're going to do today is talk about what happened in Chapter 2. We're going to talk about some events, and we're just going to talk about some of my thoughts and some of the important things I had to mention. So let's finally get started in this video. Whoops, I just hit the mic, but that's alright. So anyways, I'm just gonna try to, be smooth about it with this video. I'm trying to do the story mode a lot, but I'm just gonna do a quick overview. If you guys didn't watch it, you should watch it because me explaining it isn't that good, so spoiler alert. Here we go. So in chapter 2, or the end of chapter 1 happens. And chapter 1 was alright because you get introduced to the characters and stuff like that, and what happens? You meet Chloe back through the rerun of the tornado, and then you wake up from this tornado and you're like, oh, it's so real. And then she's like, Max, like, are you alright? But like, she's like, whoa, like, she thinks it's real life, but Chloe doesn't believe her and stuff like that. But eventually in chapter 2, this is where Chloe finds Max's superpowers. It's where something devastating happens at the end of chapter 2, and in between it, lots of stuff happens. So again, beginning of chapter 2, you wake up in your bed, nothing happens, and you go to the shower. Kate is in there, and obviously something happened to Kate with a viral video. Now she's all depressed. Now everyone bullies her about this viral video, stuff like that. So she says, in the shower, you go to the showers, and she asks for her book back. So you take a shower, and Kate's still in the shower, or in the bathroom with Max. Victoria and her friend comes in and is like, oh, Kate, wow, like, they just bully her. And then Kate cries and leaves, and they write the link to the video on the mirror. So if you didn't erase, you have a choice to erase the link on the mirror. And if you didn't do that, why didn't you do that? You're so mean. Like, jeez, like, who wouldn't do that? And it's like, on the things it tells you it's like 85% of people did it. Why wouldn't you do it? Like, I don't understand. So you go back to your room, you get the book, you go to Kate's room, and this is a very important part in chapter 2, because you need to be nosy to Kate's room, because if you're not nosy in Kate's room, then it kind of ruins the. You need to know this because of later in this chapter. So you give her a book back, and she tells you everything about what happened at this vortex party thing, and this video, like what happened in this video. So eventually you find out that Max thinks that Nathan drugged her and took her somewhere, and who knows what happened, but she probably got drugged, and they need to figure that out in the later episodes. So Kate's depressed, and her room's is a mess right now and stuff like that. So she explains everything to you, and the choices, again, what Kate asks you, what should I do? Should I go to the police, or should I look for proof? And if you tell her to go to the police, it's the best choice, because if you tell her to wait and look for proof, she gets all mad at you. So just tell her to go to the police and stuff like that. So anyways, you leave Kate's room, nothing much happens, and then you get on the bus, you head outside the dorms, and go to the diner where Chloe's gonna meet you later in this day. So you walk in, Joyce, meets you, and Joyce comes up to you and like, wow, like, you haven't been here in 5 years and all this stuff like that. So nothing else happens. This is the part where Chloe comes in later, a little late than expected. She comes in, she fights with her mom, and then Chloe's all excited about Max's superpower. She's like, oh, we gotta learn about a superpower, right? So you do a couple things. It's not very that interesting. It's not really that fun. But Chloe finds out her superpower. And as we move on, when you leave the diner, Kate calls. And again, Kate over Chloe, honestly. So that's what I do. Kate over Chloe. So as you're leaving the diner to go to the secret lair of Chloe's, Kate calls you. And Chloe gets all mad about that. I'm like, it's just a phone call and stuff like that. So Chloe's like, oh, why don't you go hang out with your best friend Kate? But like, why not answer the phone? It's one phone call. Chloe can wait 5 seconds for that. So I don't know why Chloe got all mad with that. And she got in another argument with her mom. So I don't understand, like, the problem here. Like, Chloe has, like, it's so weird, because Chloe has just naked. Like, there's some things that I really almost like, no, like, why is Chloe like that? Like, she seems like so selfish, but she's like a really cool person, but sometimes she can just get mean and like just nasty and stuff like that. So she gets over it. Max and Chloe leaves for her secret lair, which is the junkyard, and Chloe makes you find bottles, 5 bottles, so she can shoot them. So to test her superpower more. So you go to the junkyard, and apparently people had trouble with this, which I don't know why people had trouble with this. It wasn't that hard. So you go and find the 5 bottles. It took maybe my first time, like, it was a little weird, but eventually I did it. So you find the bottles and you prove that your superpower is real because you can go back in time, and you have to tell them when to aim. So if that happens, then it's weird because after all that happens, she gives you the gun. She's like, "Oh, now it's your turn to shoot," and you get this tornado vision. And this happens throughout like all the chapters, anyways. And you're just like, what's going on here? And her nose is all bloody and stuff like that because I guess she's using her power too much, and this tornado vision, and like no one can explain it, so it's so weird. And like when I just seen it, I'm like, what is going on? This is so mind-blowing. So there's so many different things. Like, is there gonna be a tornado that actually hits town? Because I don't know if this, I forget when this happened, but there's like a newspaper. You go through the in chapter 5, you look at this newspaper in the tornado vision. It's like, oh, Friday, 4 days away. Is this gonna be real? So you don't know if this is gonna be real or it's all a dream. Or after all that bottle finding, you're leaving, and a guy named Frank comes in, and this is where you meet Frank. So apparently Chloe owes Frank a lot of money, and Frank has his hand up, and Chloe sees that he has a bracelet on, which is Rachel, and Rachel's the missing girl that was Chloe's best friend. So Chloe's like, why do you have my bracelet on? And Frank's like, none of your business. So Chloe tries to like, not really attack, but like take the bracelet back. So Frank pulls out a gun, and as you see over here, Max pulls out a knife on Chloe, and over here Max pulls out a gun on Frank, and you're like, what is going on? This is insane. Like, this is crazy. So anyways, all that happens, and if you shoot, this is like the thing, if you shoot, there's no bullets in the gun, but if you don't shoot, it makes you look like a coward and like you're just not strong. So if you shoot, the shooting is the best option because Chloe is like, trust you, and it's like, oh wow, you just stood up for me right there. So eventually you head back to school, lay on the train tracks, and Chloe gets her foot stuck. So you have to get her foot stuck, and it's a whole mess. But I didn't. You have to keep rewinding so the train won't come close. But I actually, in my third time, I actually got it on my first chance. I ran up to the thing, got the crowbar, got the pliers, cut the wire just in time. It was so close, but I made it in without rewinding once. So eventually, Chloe drops you off at the game, and the game allows you at the school. The game allows you to explore the school, but it's just so boring. Like, it's just a waste of time. Like, maybe you can figure out some stuff, but it's just so boring. So obviously, my third time, I knew everything about the game, so I didn't really want to explore and waste time. So then I went to Jefferson's class, and outside is Mr. Jefferson and Kate. And Jefferson is yelling at Kate for something, but who knows? So Kate obviously runs outside, and she's about to do something that's terrible. So you go in class, about like a minute in, this kid Zach comes in, yells, "Oh, some crazy shit's going down at the girls' dorm, damn it." So you go down to the girls' dorm, and Kate's on the top of the building about to jump, and you're like, wow, Kate, I was like too late. And you think this is over, and you're like, is she gonna jump? Is she gonna die? So she jumps, but then you do your rewind power, and eventually you freeze time. You have enough time to go up on the building, and you freeze time completely. So you go up on the building, you try your rewind power, but it doesn't work on top of the building. That one time it didn't work. That one time it does not work. So you have to talk to Kate, and this is like the most important things. And as I was talking before, you need to look through her room for hints and tips and stuff. And this is the most important thing, because when you're talking to her to stay off the roof, if you mention Kate has a terrible relationship with her mother, she she has a good relationship with her sisters and father. So you have to mention her father or her sisters, and because you be nosy to her email and stuff like that. And there's also another thing, which she's like very religious. So if you go through her Bible when you're in the room, her favorite passage is Matthew 11:28, which is some quote that she likes. So if you say that in the game, it's pretty much guaranteed that she's not going to jump off. And if you say like, I think it's pretty much those two decisions with family and with the religious thing. If you get those two things right, I'm pretty sure you're gonna survive. You're gonna not hurt. She's not gonna jump. You pretty much saved her. Okay, so my first time she jumped because I mentioned her mother, which she has a terrible relationship with. So do not do that ever. Oh God, I just had to save her again. You always have to save her. It was on accident my first time, but besides the point, she comes down, and that's pretty much the end of chapter 2. She comes down, she holds your hand, you grab her arm, and boom, you saved her. And then you go in the principal's office, and this is the BS part. So you go in the principal's office, and the principal's talking about, like, I hate the principal so much because it seems like he didn't even care that much. So you can either blame it on David Madsen, Chloe's stepfather, Nathan, or Mr. Jefferson. I don't know why you would blame it on Mr. Jefferson at this point, because Jefferson really didn't do anything. You would rather blame it on Madsen at this point, because Madsen was taking pictures of her and had secret files in her thing. Or Nathan, who didn't pick Nathan, because Nathan was a weirdo and you think everyone drugged her. So obviously everyone picked Nathan. I think it was like 80% that picked Nathan. So I don't understand, like, the other percent picked Jefferson and the other percent picked Madsen. Why David? Like, he didn't even do, like, he did some stuff, but eventually you learn that he didn't really do anything because he was actually concerned with the students. So obviously it's not him, and it might be Nathan, it might be Jefferson, or it might be David. You don't know at this point. And you're just like, who is there to blame? Because every person just has problems with them. And this part in the game has the most choices that can happen. You can get yourself suspended. You can get Mr. Jefferson suspended. I think you can get David, like, in trouble somehow, but it's so hard. You gotta do each step in chapter 1 and 2 the exact way to get these things to work. Like, if you want to get Nathan suspended, you have to tell the principal that you see Nathan with a gun in the bathroom, and you have to hide that you have to not take the blame in her room, in Chloe's room, when she had the weed. So those two choices, it's so random, you don't know who. But in my first game, I blamed it on Nathan, and I got myself suspended because the principal's like, oh, I thought nothing. I asked you what was wrong with yesterday, and you didn't tell me anything, right? So that's BS, and I demand a refund. I'm just kidding, but best game ever. And chapter 2 ends, and you're like, what's going to happen next? And it's just like, not much stuff happened in chapter 2, but there was actually a lot of stuff that happened in chapter 2, because, like, obviously with Kate, and obviously with, like, you doing your superpowers, but there was so many puzzles and stuff that took the most of the time, and you're like, this is so boring, like, I don't want to do this, really. So chapter 2 was okay. Chapter 1 might have been better than 2, I don't know, but 3, 4, and 5 gets better. And so this is uploading on Wednesday. Next week Charlie's gonna continue with chapter 3. So any last thoughts with chapter 2 overview? It was funny because the one moment when you're sitting in the diner with Chloe, you're like, what was it? You're sitting and Max is like, I don't have time for that. And then Chloe's like, you did not just say that. And I was done. I was laughing so hard. I was like, that's like the best line I've ever heard in, like, a game. Like, that was so funny. And, like, what else do I think of chapter 2? Like, chapter 2, you could do, like I said, you could do so much optional stuff, like, from the beginning of the game when you leave your dorm to the part when you walk into the school, because you can explore so much. So, like, the chapter 2 can be, like, 30 minutes long, probably, to, like, 2 hours long. It depends what you do. So like my first time playing it, I didn't do much, but I kind of did much. So it was kind of long, but not like the shortest. I looked around and stuff like that. And I don't think I mentioned this last video, but it was so weird. Like, I don't know what part I figured out that Chloe, David, and Joyce was all a family. Because I really didn't, like, I was so confused. I'm like, is that her mother? Is that her father? And, like, I was just, like, I don't know what part, though. I think it had to have been before chapter 2. But there was just a part where I was like, oh, now it all makes sense. Like, who are all these people? And, like, jeez, like, I was just so confused. It was so terrible. And, yeah. So, anything else? I'm pretty sure that is it. Kate, if you save Kate, then yes. But if you kill her, then GG, honestly. So, guys, hopefully you watch more overview videos. And because I love Life is Strange. Life is Strange is the best game ever. Play it if you haven't. It's only like $25 for like all the chapters, and it has like 18 hours of gameplay, and it's just so amazing. So guys, if you haven't played Life is Strange, buy this right now. And that's pretty much it. Stay forward to Life is Strange like for like the next 2 months, because we still have chapter 3, 4, and 5 in my overviews doing once a week. So guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you enjoyed all of the other videos on Alpha Clock. So thanks for clocking in, and now time to clock out. Building out.
Hey, how you doing? So you like that video? That's great. Should probably leave a like and a comment to let us know. Probably share it with your friends too, and hit that subscribe button. Make us feel good about ourselves. All right, thank you.